In the quiet, secluded town of Oakhaven, nestled within the embrace of an ancient, sprawling forest, an unsettling stillness hung in the air. From an aerial perspective, the town was a picture of serene Japanese beauty, a tranquil island in a sea of green, but on the ground the silence was almost deafening, a palpable presence that seemed to muffle every sound. It was through this unnerving quiet that Akari, a high school student with an insatiably curious mind, made her way home. The path took her through the town square, where a colossal gnarled oak tree stood as a silent sentinel, its branches reaching towards the sky like ancient wizened arms. It was there, etched into the rough bark, that she noticed it for the first time, a faint, impossibly intricate symbol. It seemed to pulse with a hidden energy that only she could perceive. The few other townsfolk wandering by paid it no mind, their gazes sliding past it as if it were nothing more than a trick of the light. The placid surface of Akari's life soon began to ripple with strange disturbances. It started with something small, almost dismissible. A book she had just borrowed from the library, her absolute favorite, vanished from her school bag. She searched frantically, her heart sinking with the thought of having lost it, only for it to reappear hours later, tucked neatly back inside as if it had never left. Yet when she opened it, a faint, unfamiliar stain marred one of the pages, a pale discoloration that hadn't been there before. The oddities quickly spread beyond her personal belongings. A neighbor, a proud old man who cherished his garden, awoke one morning to find his prized gnome, a fixture for over a decade, had vanished from its usual spot. The next day it was back, but now it faced the house instead of the street, its painted smile seeming somehow mocking. As these minor absurdities accumulated, a more profound change began to settle over the people of Oakhaven. Their conversations grew fragmented, their words looping back on themselves in strange, repetitive patterns. When Akari voiced her growing unease, they would offer only vague, placid smiles, dismissing her concerns with a wave of the hand, their eyes holding a disconcerting emptiness. Driven by a need to understand, Akari began to hunt for the symbol. It was a subtle chase, a game of hide-and-seek with a ghost. She found it again, etched with masterful precision into the worn stones of an old temple. Its lines almost lost among the moss and lichen. It appeared again, carved discreetly into the underside of a park bench where she often sat. And once, she saw its delicate web-like pattern traced for a fleeting moment in the morning dew on a window pane. Her search led her to the dusty archives of the town library, where she pored over local folklore. There she found fragmented, half-forgotten tales of whispering shadows, ethereal entities said to steal moments and memories from the unwary. The texts were dismissed as children's fairy tales, old wives' superstitions meant to scare naughty children. Seeking a more concrete answer, she gathered her courage and approached the town elder, a man whose age seemed as ancient as Oakhaven itself. He listened to her hurried explanation with an inscrutable expression, initially brushing her off with the same gentle condescension as the others. But as she turned to leave, he called her back, his voice a low, raspy whisper. "Some things are best left undisturbed, child," he warned, his eyes clouded with a deep, weary sadness. In this town, ignorance is a form of protection. The elder's cryptic words did little to soothe her. Instead, they ignited a new level of fear as the strangeness began to invade her own life with alarming intimacy. Her personal belongings started to shift and change. A hairpin would vanish from her desk only to reappear on her pillow. A photograph of her parents, a cherished memento, was suddenly reversed in its frame. Each change was minor, almost trivial, but their cumulative effect was deeply unsettling. A constant, low-grade psychological warfare waged by an unseen hand. The oppressive quiet of Oakhaven deepened, pressing in on her until it felt like a physical weight. The town itself seemed to be holding its breath, waiting. Her dread intensified one evening when, unable to sleep, she peered out her window and witnessed a bizarre spectacle in the town square. Groups of townsfolk, people she had known her entire life, were gathered under the moonlight. They moved without purpose, their eyes vacant and unfocused, their bodies performing subtle, synchronized gestures. A slow turn of the head, a delicate flick of the wrist, all in perfect, eerie unison. They were no longer her neighbors. They were puppets in a silent, incomprehensible play. Following a trail of the symbols, which now seemed to appear to her with increasing frequency, Akari found herself drawn to the outskirts of Oakhaven, to a place long forgotten by the rest of the town. There, perched on a hill and choked by ivy and weeds, stood an abandoned astronomical observatory. Its dome was partially collapsed, a gaping wound open to the sky, and its very presence radiated an aura of deep-seated melancholy. Pushing open the creaking, rusted door, she stepped inside. Moonlight streamed through the broken dome, illuminating motes of dust that danced in the still air like tiny, ghostly fireflies. At the center of the circular room, where a grand telescope should have been, stood something else entirely. It was a bizarre, intricate device forged from a metal she didn't recognize, its surface covered from top to bottom in the very same symbols that had haunted her for weeks. A faint, low-frequency hum emanated from it, a sound that vibrated not in her ears but deep within her bones. As she drew closer, mesmerized and terrified, she saw reflections shimmer across its polished, alien surface. They were not clear images but distorted, fragmented memories. The face of her neighbor smiling, but with his eyes moving in an impossible, unnatural way. A flash of the town square, twisting and folding in on itself. Fleeting glimpses of what felt like other worlds, other realities, all swirling together in a chaotic, hypnotic ballet. A floorboard creaked behind her and Akari spun around, her heart leaping into her throat. The town elder stood in the doorway, his silhouette framed by the pale moonlight. He had not come to stop her, however, but to finally offer the truth. His voice, when he spoke, was heavy with the burden of a secret kept for generations. The humming device, he explained, was not a malevolent artifact. It was a preserver, a guardian. Oakhaven, he revealed, existed on a fragile seam between realities, and a nameless cosmic entity was slowly, inexorably encroaching upon their world, threatening to consume it entirely. The preserver was their only defense. It maintained the integrity of their town's existence by creating a protective barrier, but this protection came at a terrible cost. To power itself, the device slowly and systematically consumed small, insignificant things, memories, moments, and physical objects. The strange occurrences, the missing items, the fragmented conversations, they were all side effects of the preserver's quiet, ceaseless work, or perhaps the townsfolk's unconscious, instinctual sacrifices to feed the machine that kept them safe. The symbols were not dark omens, but sigils of protection, the very grammar of the barrier that held oblivion at bay. The elder's gaze fell upon Akari, and for the first time she saw not just weariness in his eyes, but something akin to pity. He explained that her unusual sensitivity, her ability to perceive the symbols and the subtle shifts in reality, was not a coincidence. It meant she was now aware, a rare and crucial component for the preserver's continued function. As he spoke, Akari felt a strange, tingling sensation on the back of her hand. She looked down and saw, with a dawning horror, a faint symbol materializing on her skin, a permanent glowing mark that was a perfect mirror of the sigils covering the device before her. Her gaze was drawn back to the preserver's shimmering surface, where her own reflection stared back, its eyes wide with a terror that was slowly being replaced by a chilling acceptance. From the observatory window, she looked out at the picturesque, silent town of Oakhaven, no longer a home but a beautiful, fragile cage. The low hum of the preserver seemed to merge with the town's oppressive stillness, becoming the silent, secret heartbeat of their precarious world. What cosmic horror lurked just beyond the veil, and what her own fate, now intertwined with the machine, would be, remained an unsettling, unanswered question, lost in the quiet of the night.